And welcome everyone. This is going to be our Learn SoftChalk 7. It's going to be our intermediate class where we're going to be looking at different topics than what we did in the first class. Some of the topics we're going to be covering today, we're going to be creating a personal style. We'll also be creating a few more activities within our lesson. We're going to create quiz questions. We're also going to find out about the SoftChalk library and how we can use that SoftChalk library to help us create future lessons by taking content that we have already created in one lesson, putting it in the library so we can reuse it in another lesson. We'll also find out about quiz groups and how to create scenario branching in our lessons. So rather than just taking a lesson and making it an open navigation or even a sequential navigation, we're going to look at scenario branching where the students can actually determine their course of learning depending on what we're going to create and their choices. All right, that's our goals for today. I'm going to close this browser window, and I'm then looking at my desktop. Now, on my desktop, I have this zip package. I'm going to move some things around here. And I've got this zip package that, once again, I'd like to unpackage. Remember, that's done simply by pointing to the name of the package, TRCC files, 2.zip. We'll then right mouse click on that and then select Extract All. What we want to do is change the location for where we want these files to go. So I'm going to click on the Browse button. I'll then choose Desktop. It's really important when you right mouse click not to select open or not to try double clicking on that zipped package, but to right mouse click and then select Extract All. Now we're going to extract these to our desktop, so I've selected that. I'll then click OK. And once again, I want to make sure that if there's a checkbox on showing the extracted files, just remove that check. Then click Extract. And it's now opening up or making a copy of all 400 plus items that we're going to be using today. All right, it's finished. I'm just going to remove the focus again. I'm going to move that from the center of the screen and bring back in or bring in that TRCC Files 2 folder. Again, this has all of the content we're going to be using today, so anytime we want to go anywhere, this is the folder we'll look in. Now, if I look in the folder, then we're going to see the same Start Here document that we did in the first class. We're not going to worry about that. There is, however, this My First Lesson, and this is the lesson that we were creating and we had created to a point in the first session. We're going to start with that lesson. Now, we remember that to edit a lesson created with the SoftChalk Create or SoftChalk 7 program, we need to be in the program so we can open it to edit that particular lesson. You'll also notice some other folders like this special zips folder, and that's going to have some special packaging that we're going to be using a little bit later on. And then we have our branching folder that's going to have the lesson or the document in it that we're going to use to create our branching or scenario branching lesson. For right now, I guess I can just close that folder. I don't really need it open. I'm looking at my desktop. I then want to go to my SoftChalk icon, should be on our desktop, and then double click on that. And it's again going to go out, make sure that there are no new versions of this software. If there are, if it does ask you to download, then just say no. We will use whatever version you currently have. And again, it opens up the SoftChalk program. Now I'm going to maximize that window. So again, I'll go to my maximize button and click. And next, what I would like to do is I actually want to open a lesson that I have previously created here. All right, so I'm going to open a lesson that I have previously created, and we remember that that can be done simply by choosing File from the menu bar, and then from the File menu, select Open Recent if it's a recent lesson. So again, we'll go to File, select Open Recent, and it's unfortunately not the most recent one. Well, I'm going to then go to the Open button. I'm then going to need to navigate to where I know my lessons are stored. Now, we've stored it inside of the TRCC Files 2 folder, so we're going to first of all navigate to our desktop. Then we'll look for the TRCC Files 2 folder and open it, and then look for my first lesson. So I'm going to select that and open it. And this shows us the first 6 pages that we created in that first class. So I'm just going to click on any one of these HTML files. It doesn't matter which one. And then we click on Open, and we're now all ready to start editing this particular lesson. And you'll notice the look should be very familiar to you because it's what we had done in the last class. Now I'm going to go all the way to the bottom of this particular lesson. And you may recall the quickest method to get to the end of a lesson is to use the keyboard shortcut. And that keyboard shortcut would be Control plus the END, or the end key. And that takes us all the way down to our quiz pages, and right up above that it shows us our activities. All right, well, that's what we had created in our first class. Well, we're actually going to make all of that go away from activities all the way to the end of our lesson. So I'd like you to click right in front of activities, and then just hold down or just drag until we get to the end of the lesson where we have Quiz Me. So I'm going to clean this up. We're going to start as though we know nothing about quizzes and activities. I'll then just press the delete key, and it goes away. And we're now ready to start adding additional content or additional activities and some other things that we're going to be using. Now, how are we going to get that additional information? Well, now that I have my lesson open, I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to minimize my current window so that I'm once again looking at the desktop. Now, let's open up this TRCC Files folder once again. And once it's opened, then let's go into the Files folder. And you'll notice that there is a Word or just a text file called Student Lesson PT or Part 2. Now that's just created, let's say, using Notepad, or it might have been created using a different word processor other than Word. All right, so I'd like to open that, and I'm just going to double click on it to select it and open it. And it then shows me all of this text. There's quite a lot of text in here. This is where we're going to start from, and all I'd like to do is the same basic thing that we did when we dealt with the Word document. We're going to select all of our text. So I'm going to choose Edit from the menu bar and Select All. Now that all of that is selected, let's next go to Edit from the menu bar and select Copy. So we've now put all of that text, and again, there's quite a lot of it, on our clipboard. I'm going to close my notepad. Then I'll bring back the SoftChalk task, so I'll just go to my taskbar and then click. And it then redisplays the My First Lesson task. Now we've got a lot of content on our clipboard. All we need to do is edit and paste. And this is, again, just plain text, but we see we've now added a lot of extra material here. Now, if we go all the way up to our page break for our 5th page, we'll see it's going to start with quiz questions. All right, well, let's just click on that paragraph, and I would like to make that part of my navigation. We're going to review some things from the last class first, obviously, before we start doing anything new. What I would like to do is make that part of my navigation. Remember, that's done simply by going to our Styles tool that currently shows me plain text, and I'm going to make it a heading 1, mainly because it's the main topic on this page. Now let's go to the question types right below it, click on that paragraph, and make that a heading 2. It's a subtopic of the quiz questions. Now, let's then click on True False, change that style, and let's make it a heading 3. So again, we have our main topic, subtopic, and a sub-subtopic, heading 1, heading 2, and heading 3. And we remember that this creates the automatic navigation within our lesson. Okay. Now what we would like to do is I want to look at the information that I have here, and I see the questions you'll be viewing or the lesson you're viewing may contain quiz questions. They can be displayed one at a time or as a group. Questions can appear when the page loads, or you might have to click on an icon. All right, well, that's pretty nice. Now, if questions appear as a single question, your answer will be checked after each question, and I'm going to add to this. I'm going to click right after question because I've discovered that some students don't know as much as I thought they might. So I want to then include, you will need to click on the check answer button to complete the question. If they don't click on the the check answer button, then very simply, it's like they didn't answer the question at all. Now, I really want to emphasize that. So I'm going to select all of that text. I'm just going to point in front of the U and then drag just to the right of question, and then I'm going to highlight it. So I'm going to use this highlight color and then pick the color that I want to use. I guess I'll use the standard yellow. I'll click OK, and that's really going to make that stand out of the screen so that my students really don't have any excuse for not answering and submitting those answers to be scored by clicking on the check answer button. Now let's create our first quiz question type. Underneath true, false, we see an example paragraph. Just click to the right of the word result and then press enter. Quiz questions should always start on a blank line. Then that's what we've done. Now we're going to choose Insert from the menu bar. From the Insert menu, I'm going to select Quiz Popper. And let's make this a simple little true-false. All right, I'm ready to type in my statement. All right, and I'm just going to say the school you are attending is 3 Rivers Community College. Okay. So that's what I've just done. That's going to be my statement. I now would like my students to evaluate that statement. Remember, this is a lesson that we're going to let our students look at in the very first lesson of the course so they get used to looking for quiz questions, learning how to answer them, so that when it comes to the real deal section of your course, they know what to expect. Now there's our statement. Right below is the possible answers. I know it's true. Let's go to feedback. If they get the answer right, then what I would like to do is I would like it to display, let's say, the name of the school, just a graphic image. So I'm just going to press the Enter key. And now I'm going to now try to put in an image. To do that, I would right mouse click right below, right, good job, and then select Image. I'm going to click on the Select Image button, and I now need to navigate into our TRCC files folder again. So wherever it currently sends you, click on that line, choose Desktop, navigate to the TRCC Files 2 folder, select it and open it, and then go inside of Graphics. Select it and open it. Let's use the TRCC small image and select. And we've now put in, click OK, and we've now put in an image if they get the answer right. Now how about if they get the answer wrong? Well, I want them to see the same thing. A quick way to duplicate or to copy an image is just click on the image and then do a Control C. Hold down on the CTRL button and press the letter C. Now let's click on the box down below right after sorry incorrect answer. Press Enter to create a blank line, and then let's do Control CTRL and press the letter V as in victory, and we now have that image twice, once if they get the answer right and once if they get the answer wrong. I don't think we really need to show the feedback or show the correct answer if they get it wrong, because they should know what the correct answer was. It's true, false. Now, let's do a hint. Remember, a hint can be easily displayed by clicking on the Show Hint button, and let's put in that same image that we just pasted previously. Once again, I'm going to hold down on Control, CTRL, and press the letter V. Images can easily be copied between different areas of your of the SoftChalk program, or within your lesson very quickly and very easily by selecting it, copying it, and then pasting it. We do not allow you to drag and drop an image from one location to another. If you would like to move an image, you would cut it from where it is, Control plus the X key, and then paste it where you would like it to go. Let's go to our Options tab. I'm going to let it be self-check. It's going to be worth 1 point. I'm not going to allow my students to try it again, but I am going to hide the question when the page loads. I'll then click OK, and I have now put in my first quiz question. Okay, let's put in another quiz question. Let's make this one a multiple choice. I'm going to first of all click on multiple choice, and I'd like my students to be able to navigate to that particular location. So I'm going to change its style to a heading 3. Then I'm going to click after the word result and press enter. I now want to choose Insert, Quiz Popper, and I'm going to let this one be a multiple choice quiz question. My question is TRCC stands for, and I want them to fill in or pick the right answer. So I'm going to come down here and call it 3 Rivers Community College. I'm making these all really easy. Now notice there's a radio button off to the right here. The radio button would indicate that there can only be one correct answer, because if we would click on the second radio button in the B slot, notice how that removed it from A. Now I know that's the correct answer, so I'm going to select that. And then I'll come down here and then say nothing. And those are my two choices. If I wanted to, I could put in up to 8 possible choices. 1 correct answer and 7 distractors for my question. Let's now go to the feedback. And again, I could modify what the students see with the correct answer, or when they get the correct answer, and what they see when they get the incorrect answer. In this example, I'm actually going to show what the correct answer is. I'm not going to put in a hint. We've already done that. Let's go to our Options tab, and I'm going to change one feature here, and what I want you to really notice is that SoftChalk remembered what you had done last. And the last time we looked at the options, we told it self-check, 1 point, and hide the question. What we're going to do this time is show the question, and I'll then click OK. And I now have my multiple choice question created, and it's going to display automatically. Now let's create one other new question. We're going to make this one a short answer. So I'm going to click on short answer. I'm then going to make that part of my navigation, so I'll make it a heading 3. Then I'm going to click just to the right of the end of that paragraph above matching, and I'll then press enter. And I'm now ready to type in or to create my quiz question. I do that by choosing Insert, Quiz Popper, and I'm going to let this be select a short answer. I'm now ready to type in what my question should be, and I'm going to say the name of the school you are attending is, and I want them to fill in the blank. All right, well, what answers will I select or will I accept? 3 Rivers Community College. That's a good answer. Now, do I want them to match my text exactly? If I do, then the answer must match case. If I really just am happy that they know the names, then I don't worry about that. Now, I'm also going to accept TRCC. And I'm even going to take 3 Rivers and 3 Rivers CC. Or those are all of the possible answers that I will allow or that I will accept. And that's why we have those 8 different lines, in case you're going to be flexible and say, well, I will take any of those. Now, let's go back to our options. I'm not going to worry about the feedback, the hint, or the feedback or the hint, but I'm now ready to make sure it's displaying exactly the way I want. It's going to be a self-check. It's going to be worth 1 point, and I am going to show the question when the page loads. So again, I'll click OK, and we've now created our 3rd quiz question. All right, well, that's great. That's what I wanted to do. Now, what I'd also like to do is I want to think about quizzes that I create And, even if I only create a series of, like, say, 5 quiz questions for each lesson that I create for my online course, if I have then 15 lessons, then at the end of the semester, at the end of the course, I'm going to actually have 75 quiz questions. Well, wouldn't it be nice if I could reuse each question that I created at the end of the course and create a big review using all of the questions that I previously had? Now, the way we do that is we use the SoftChalk library. Well, let's look at our library. Choose Tools from the menu bar, and from the Tools menu, select Library. You'll notice the library is empty. There's nothing there. Well, that's because the library is yours and you probably haven't put anything in there. Now let's see about the library. First of all, the library is it is part of the computer you're sitting in front of. That means if you use SoftChalk not only at work but also home, then you may, and it is very easily possible, to have more than one library. What we give you the ability to do, however, is to export your library. And the exporting of a library lets you take what you currently see and put it on another computer. And obviously, if you can export, then you can also import. All right, well, that's great. Let's click on Close and find out how we can take our questions that we've already created and put them into a library. Let's go to the first question. That's our true-false question. Point to it, and then right mouse click. When we right mouse click, we get our pop-up menu, and we want to save it to the library. Now, it gives us our library dialog box where the first thing it wants us to do is to name the quiz question. All right, so I'm going to click on the name, and I'm going to call this T-F. That's just so I know that it's a true-false, and it's the name of the school. I really like to give a lot of specifics in the file name just to make it easier for me later on. I can also put in a description of this and then click on Save. Now, what I like to actually include for the description is whether the question, whether I think the question is a difficult question, a simple question, or kind of intermediate question. This way I can then reuse it and say, well, I want to choose only the difficult ones. I'm going to select, or I'm then going to click on Save, and I've now saved my first item in the library. Click on Close. Let's do the same thing for our multiple choice. Right mouse click on the multiple choice quiz popper, select Save to Library, and I'm ready to give this a name. So I'm going to click in the name box, and this is my MC, and then I'll say the name of the school, and I'll save that item. So I've now created two different items, quiz questions, in my library. Clicks OK and Close, and let's finally put in our short answer. So I'm going to right mouse click on that, save it to the library, and then I'm going to give it a name. I'll call it SA for short answer, and again, the name of the school. And then I click on Save that particular item. I'll then click OK and Close, and we've now put different content into our library. Pretty easily done. Now let's go back and look at the library, Tools and Library. And you'll see why I like to name the item, the quiz question, with the type of quiz it is. Let's click on the first one, the name of the school, the SA, and you'll notice the image doesn't really let me know what type of quiz question it is. That's why I like to indicate it in the title. Now I can also put it in the description area, but it then lets me see very quickly what type of question I'm looking at. All right, now click back on the library, and if you wanted to, well, I'll come back to that. I'm going to click on Close. We've just put several different content items in our library. Now let's go all the way up to the beginning of our lesson where we see that image for Three Rivers College. I'm going to point to it and right mouse click, and I'd like to save that to the library also. So I'm going to click on Save to Library. I'm ready to give this a name. It's using the name that was connected with the image. Well, that works okay, but I'm going to select what's there and call it the school's website image. And then click on Save the Item. And it's now saved in our library. Click OK, and then click on Close. So we see the kinds of content you can then store in the library. Well, it can be a quiz question. It can be a graphic. Let's scroll down. And notice there's also that audio placeholder. Let's see if that can go. That's the audio file that we're having it play. Let's see if we can put an audio file in our library. If we can, we'd put it there by right mouse clicking and then selecting Save to Library. And notice it doesn't allow you to bring in an audio file. All right, well, how about a video file? If I scroll down a little bit, there's my inline video placeholder. That's the video file that we brought in. Right mouse click, and again, I can't do it. I'll scroll down a little bit more. And we've got two different videos that are coming from the web. Can I bring those in? Well, let's try that first one. This one came from YouTube. Point to it, right mouse click, and again, no. So we can't put video or audio, whether it come from the web or whether it comes locally in our library. We can put quiz questions and we could put graphics. All right, let's go down to the below where we've just put in all of our quiz questions. And I then would like to scroll down just a little bit more and click right up above Activities. This is where I'd like to put in a page break. I want to create a new page at this point. So I've clicked on the blank line right up above Activities. I'm then going to use a keyboard shortcut to create my page break. Hold down on the Control key, CTRL, and press Enter. And that created our 6th page break. I'm going to click, or my cursor's already on that Activities line. Let's again make it a heading 1 because it's going to be the main topic for our lesson. I'm then going to scroll down and notice all of the different activities that we can create. And this list does list every activity that is available. And what I now want to do is select that line that says the points are not placed in the final grade until you finish the activity. I want to make that boldface, and I'm also going to highlight it so it really stands out. I'll make it the yellow. I'm going to make it a bright yellow this time. And so, again, I want my students to realize unless they finish or complete the activity, it's like they didn't even try it. So they have to finish the activity. Now, let's create an activity. We're going to create a crossword puzzle. I'm going to click right on that blank line right up above Did You Know activity. And this is where we'll create our crossword. We're going to choose Insert from the menu bar. From the Insert menu, we'll select Activity and then choose Crossword. This displays the crossword dialog window where we could type in the word and then the clue. Now, rather than typing, what we're going to do is just import a list of terms that I have already created. I'm going to click on Import List. I then want to navigate to our desktop, look inside of the TRCC Files folder 2. I'll select it and open it. And then I want to go into the Files folder again. So I'll click on Files and Open. And let's select Xword. And that brought in 10 words and clues. Now, no one said these had to be difficult. You'll notice that they really are not. But that's our crossword puzzle. Now, a crossword puzzle in SoftChalk can be either a static puzzle, meaning every student gets the same puzzle, or it can be random. We're going to let it be random, meaning every student gets a different puzzle. And then we're going to go to our Options tab and set a point value for this particular puzzle. All right, rather than 0, I'm going to let it be worth 5 points. I'm going to show a restart button. I'm going to display the puzzle in line, and I am going to play feedback sounds. And I'll then click OK. We've just created a crossword activity. Now, let's take this crossword activity and see if we can put it in our library. Point to it and right mouse click. Select Save to Library. And let's call this our crossword. And then I'm going to say days of the week. And I'm going to save the item. So I can actually take activities that I've created, create them once, and then reuse them by putting them in the library. Okay, that's pretty nice. I'll then click on Close, and we've just created our first activity. Let's click on the crossword activity paragraph, and let's make it a heading 2. So it's going to be part of our navigation. Now, while we're looking at these, and we've now put activities in, we're going to be creating a few more activities. But once again, what I'd like you to do is go back to the library. We're going to go to Tools, and we're going to select Library. And again, this shows us all of the different content. Now, if you click on that first activity, we are identifying activities, graphics, and quiz questions by the symbol that's connected with it. However, if you click on the first activity, it just lets us know it is an activity. And that's why, once again, I like to tell myself the type of activity it is in the title. All right, now, suppose I would like to take this list, this library, and put it on my computer that I use at home. Well, what we could now do is we can select an individual element of the library and export it. Or we can select multiple items. Suppose I wanted to select all of the quiz questions. You can click on the first quiz question, hold down on the Shift key on your keyboard, and click on the last quiz question. And that selects them all, and it allows you to export them. Now, suppose I would like to also include, in addition to the quiz questions, the activity, but I don't want the graphic included. To select non-consecutive items, hold down on the Control key, CTRL, and click on Crossword. And notice that that selects everything except for the image. And again, I could export that so that I then have the same library content on my computer at home. All right, now let's click on Library. When we do that, it selects everything in the library. Let's next export it. We'll see how this would work. Click on Export, and we want to export the entire library. Okay, we do. Now it's going to ask us for a location and a name. Let's first of all go into our desktop and then go into the TRCC Files 2 folder. Now you're also going to see the zip file there. Make sure you're going into the folder itself. We'll select that and open it, and we're then ready to click and give this our name, or a name. And we'll just call this My First Library. And it's going to be a zip file. We'll click on Save, and the export's now completed. Great. Click OK. Now, let's click on the first item in the library. Hold down on the Shift key and click on the last item, and then click on Delete. OK. Click Close. So now imagine what you've done is you've now gone home and you now want to bring in all of that content from your library at school. What you would do is go to Tools and Library, click on Import. Navigate to where that zip file is stored. So I'm going to click on them wherever it currently takes you, probably my documents. Go to the desktop, go inside of the TRCC Files 2 folder, open it, and select My First Library. Click on Open. And that's all you have to do to move from or to take a library from one computer and put it on another. Speaking of which, let's again click on the Import button, because we're going to import items from a zip file again. So click on Import, or actually what we may first need to do is to close our library, and then once again go to Tools and Library to reopen it, and then click on Import. Once again, it takes us to our Import Library dialog window. Let's navigate to our desktop. Once we're in the desktop, go inside of the TRCC Files 2 folder and open it. And you'll see another folder there called Special Zips. Click on that and open it. And you then see this Library for Training. Click on that and open it. And this shows you, imports completed, click OK. This shows you another idea of what you can do with a library. You can create folders, notice the new folder button here, and subfolders in the library to help you organize your content. Now, let's see if we can reorganize what we have, or organize what we have done already. We've got a crossword puzzle here for days of the week. Let's see if we can put that inside of our activities folder. Point to the crossword, days of the week, hold down on the mouse button, and just drag up until it is underneath activities. Then let up on the mouse button. And we've just moved that content. Now let's take the school's website image and put it inside of the Photos folder. Hold down on the point to the school's website image, Hold down on the mouse button and drag up until Photos gets highlighted. Notice it turns gray. Let up, and you have now dropped that image inside of that folder. We see the plus sign. Click on the plus sign, and we now see that image. Let's create another folder inside of quiz questions. Click on the quiz questions folder. Click on New Folder. And let's call this Student Lesson. Click OK. Notice it created that new folder inside of where we currently were, or what we had originally selected. Now let's move all of these quiz questions into the student folder. Click on the first question, the essay, the name of the school. Hold down on Shift and click on the last question. That allows us to select consecutive items. Now point to any of those selected quiz questions, hold down on the mouse button and drag up until Student Lesson is selected. Then let up, and we have now put all of those questions in the folder. Media is not allowed in our library, so let's click on the Media folder and delete it. And yes, it is okay to delete media and all of its content. And that's what we can do to help organize our library to make it easier for us to find content. If we just threw it in just like an item at a time, then our library can get very difficult to find things because it's not organized. So I'd like to try to keep it organized when I first start. And that's what we've just done. Now, notice all the plus signs and minus signs. If you click on the minus sign that's to the left of library, then it will compress the entire library into that one folder. Clicking on the plus sign should expand it, and anytime we see a folder with a plus sign, it means there is additional content in that folder. Clicking on the plus sign will expand it. Clicking on the minus sign compresses. And that's the library. Now, the library can also be used to import and export quiz questions. Notice there is a tab there for quiz pools. Click on that. You can import and export quiz questions into and from Blackboard. So if you've already got a whole series of questions that you have created in Blackboard, you can select those questions and you can export it in Blackboard itself, and then you'll be able to import them into your library that you can then reuse at some other point in time. All right, let's click on close, and notice that also can be true for Respondus. You can take quiz questions that you have created in Respondus, export them, or you can actually take your quiz questions from SoftChalk and export them into a Respondus format. Pretty nice. I'm going to click on Close and close my library. Now, the next thing that I would like to do, I actually want to deal with or create another activity. But I'm going to do this a little bit differently than the way we had done it previously. This time, I'd like you to choose Tools from the menu bar. And then I'd like you to select Media Search. Now, we used the media search in our previous class to find graphics, to find video. What we're going to now search is we're going to remove the check from YouTube, and we're going to click on the checkbox for SoftChalk Cloud. We're going to see if there's any content that we might want to use that people have shared with us by putting it in the cloud. We'll then come up to our keyword line, and I'd like you to type in president. And we're then going to search. Now I'm going to have it find a maximum of 50 items. I'll then click on search, and it's now going out to the SoftChalk Cloud, and it is finding content. Now I'm never sure what kind of content it can find, because on the cloud people can add content anytime they want to, very easily, to take content and put it on the cloud. Those people who are using the SoftChalk Cloud. And in a couple of more seconds, we should start finding that content. And now we've seen it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to use this pairs activity that matches the president with the term. I want to click on it. And the first thing I'm going to do, well, I'm going to save it to the library. So I'll click on Save to Library. Okay, it's now been saved. I can use it either in this lesson or in another lesson. Exactly what I wanted it to do. Let's click on Close to close this media search. Let's scroll down our list, and notice we've got a whole list of different activities that we can work with. I'd like you to find the pairs activity. And I want to click on the blank line right up above presenter. Once again, choose Tools and select Media Search. It remembers what you did last. Now once again, let's choose the Match President with Term and choose Insert. Click OK and close. So we've just taken that same activity, and in one point we inserted it into our lesson. That came in as a widget. Now you'll remember that what a widget does is it uses an embed code that just accesses that particular content out on the SoftChalk Cloud website. That means it's not really in my lesson. We're just bringing it in so our students can see it. Now let's click on Pairs Activity and change the paragraph style. Let's make it a heading 3. Now let's see what we have done. We haven't done that yet today. So I'm going to click on the Preview in the Browser tool. I'll save the changes that we have made to our lesson. In a few seconds, we're now going to see what our lesson looks like. There it is. I'm just going to scroll down this list. And I'm going to go to that Activities page, page 6, and choose the Pairs activity. It's going to take me right to that location. Now notice it then shows me created with SoftChalk. That's because it is embedded in or embedded from the SoftChalk Cloud website. And this is to match the president with the term that he served. So I would click on Washington and go to the exclamation point. And then I guess Adams is number 2, Jefferson is number 3, Andrew Jackson is number 7, and I guess Monroe is 5 and Madison is 4, and I've now got them all correct. Notice I did not earn any points for it because all I can do here is look at the activity. All right, I'm going to close my browser. And I'd like you then to click just to the right of that widget placeholder, press enter to create a blank line. And now let's choose Tools from the menu bar, select Library. Well, this is the library that we've been working in, and notice there's the activity, the match the president with the term. All right, well, first of all, let's drag it into our activities folder just to keep our organization scheme going. Then, with that match the president with term selected, click on Insert into the lesson. Click OK, and then close. Now, what did that do? Well, it brought in the activity as a placeholder, just like the crossword activity placeholder that we had created a few seconds ago. Now, what does that mean? It means if you use the SoftChalk Cloud to try to find content and you find it, if you put it in the library, then when you bring it into your lesson, it's like you created it yourself, which means you can now modify this. Let's point to that pairs activity placeholder, right mouse click on it, and choose Modify Activity. It's like you created it yourself. Now I'm going to change that exclamation point, and I want to make it the number 1. So I'm just going to click on the box that has that, get rid of the exclamation point, and put in a 1. Now what the pairs activity does, it allows you to create different sets, a maximum of up to 25 sets, of matching pair items. And in this case, it's the president and their term. Now, we could put a maximum of 6 pair in each set. Okay. Now, what I might want to do is rather than going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, I might like it to be a little bit better and go from 1 through 6. Now, I'm also going to modify this and put in first names. So I'll put in George for George Washington, John for John Adams, Thomas for Thomas Jefferson, James for James Madison, and I guess it would be the same, James for James Monroe. And then for Jackson, I'm going to select that and type in John Quincy Adams, and I'll make that number 6. So there's my matching set, my first matching set. I can create another matching set and put in the next 6 presidents. I can create another matching set and put in the next 6. So I can create up to 25 different sets if I would like. That's our setup. Now, to help you remember how to create this kind of an activity, if you go to Example, you'll see an example of it. You can then click right on that, and you'll then be able to try that example activity. So it gives you an idea of what you can do with the particular activity. Let's go back to our Options tab. And what I want to do is make this worth some points. This is going to be a scoreable activity. So I'm going to change the point value, and I'm going to let it be worth 6 points. I'll then click OK. So I've now created quiz questions and activities that are worth points. Pretty cool. Now, do I need this widget placeholder up above? Not really. So I'm going to click on that and just make it go away. I'm going to press delete. Again, the difference between inserting an activity from the library or inserting it from the media search tool and inserting it from the library, if I bring it in from the media search tool, I cannot make any changes. If I use the media search tool and put it into the library, then when I bring it into my lesson, I can make changes to it. All right, so we've now added some other activities to our lesson. Let's create another one. I'd like you to click on Seek a Word Activity. Let's change its style to a heading 3. Click on the blank line between or right up above Selection Activity, and this is where we're going to put in a list of words that we want our students to find. It's a word search. I like using this at the beginning of a lesson to introduce new terms to my students. The way it works, we choose Insert, we select Activity, and we select Seek a Word. Now, rather than typing in the list, let's click on Import List, because I've already created a list of words for you, and choose Order. Click on Select, and there's our list of words. Pretty simple, just Roman numerals that I want them to find. All right, well, I guess that's what I'm going to use. I'll then go to my Options tab. I'm going to let it be worth 1 point. I am going to show a hint. I want to show a restart button. I'm going to display it in line, and I'm going to make it play noises. I'll click OK. And we've just created a word search activity. Well, that was pretty easy to create also. We have, as you know, over 20 different activities that we can place or use in our lessons. Let's create a couple more. Let's do a drag and drop activity. Now, if I think about what we had already put in our library, I've got a states and capitals, and that's a crossword. I've got charts. That's a charting activity. I'm not sure what that one does. Those are our activities so far. Now I'm going to click on Close My Library, and I now want to create my drag and drop activity. I'm going to click on the blank line right up above Ordering, and I'm ready to insert an activity and choose drag and drop. Now, I know I'm not mentioning anything about mobile friendly because you've already, or you will be getting in the next couple of days the newest version of the SoftChalk program. That's SoftChalk 8 that we're going to be calling SoftChalk Create. And it's going to be the desktop version of SoftChalk Create. In SoftChalk Create, all of the activities are mobile friendly. Now, what will you need to do to take anything that you have done in version 7 and make it make the activities, all of the activities, mobile friendly? Well, all you have to do is open the lesson that you've created in version 7 in SoftChalk Create and save it. Open and save, and that converts all of the activities from whether they are from the Flash-based into the mobile-friendly method. Now we're going to be creating a drag and drop activity. So I'm going to choose drag and drop. I'm going to import a list of terms that I've already created, and I'm going to select order, or I'm sorry, X word. I'll choose X word and select. I've got 7 matching pairs. I'll go to my Options tab. Notice in this case, you can actually show what the correct answers are. I'm not going to. And you can make it display in a fairly large text format. I'm not going to do that either. I'm going to change my point value. I'm going to let it be worth 5 points. And I'll then click OK. We've now created, I am showing restart, inline, and sounds. Well, we've now created our drag and drop activity. Now let's click on drag and drop, and let's make that into a styled paragraph. I'm going to get into a heading 3 style. We've now created another activity. Could we take this activity and put it into our library? Sure we can. We've already done that. We saw how simple it was to do it. All right, we're not going to in this particular example. So we've now created several different activities. We're going to create one more. We're going to create a slideshow activity. I'm going to click on slideshow. I'm going to make it a heading 3 style. And I'm then going to click on the blank line between or right up above sorting activity. We're going to create a slideshow similar to what you might be or you might have used in, let's say, PowerPoint. Now, how do we create a slideshow activity? We choose Insert from the menu bar, and from the Insert menu, we're going to select Activity and then choose Slideshow. Now, a lot of people, I've noticed, are still fond of PowerPoint. I'm not a great fan of it, but if you already have a PowerPoint slide deck that you want to reuse in your lesson, we give you the ability to do that by using this slideshow activity. Let me show you how that's done. First of all, let's just minimize our current windows if we can. And we go, wait a minute, I can't because I've got the slideshow activity open. All right, so I'm just going to cancel this slideshow and then minimize my soft chalk window, my soft chalk lesson window. And I still have that files folder open that's inside of our TRCC files folder. And you'll notice there's a PowerPoint document there. Okay, if for some reason you would close that, then just go to the desktop, look for the TRCC Files 2 folder, open it, and then select the Files folder that's in there, open it, and then let's point to the Using PowerPoint Online. Just double-click on that, and we know that that's going to open up the PowerPoint program. It's going to show us our slide deck. All right, this is a simple example. I only have 4 slides. Some suggestions I would offer if you're going to do this with your own PowerPoint slide decks, your activity or this slideshow activity should probably take no longer than 5 minutes for the students to look through. If you have a 100-slide deck, you may want to break that into multiple slideshows. Now, notice this is just a 4-slide presentation. Using PowerPoint Online, the problems with PowerPoint Online. It's a presentation tool, requires a presenter, and PowerPoint doesn't embed the audio files. They are an external part of PowerPoint. So when you try to just bring in your PowerPoint, even if you had audio placed in it, it doesn't work online. The solution is very simple. Save your PowerPoints as a graphic. Okay, this shows you how you can do it. And then add, maybe add some audio, add some video, and some real big tips. Keep it short. All right, now, how are we going to take this and make it part of the soft chalk slideshow? We choose File from the menu bar. We're going to select from the File menu, Save As. This is going to give us our Save As dialog window. Now, it currently is always going to save it as a PowerPoint presentation, a PPT file. Click on that Save As file type. And it gives you a whole list of different kinds of file formats you can save it as. Well, we're going to save it as a graphic. So I'm going to look for the JPEG file interchange format. I'll click on that line. And now I'm going to click on Save. And it says, okay, now what do you want me to save? Do you want me to save the current slide or every slide? Well, we're going to choose every slide. And it's done. Each slide has been saved in a separate folder. And it put that folder inside of the Files folder inside of your TRCC Files too. It's called Using PowerPoint Online. Click OK. Let's close PowerPoint. And you'll notice there's the folder that has all of the graphics that you want to use. All right, that's our first step. Now I'm going to close this folder or this window, come back into the SoftChalk program. Cursor's right where I want it to be. I want to insert an activity, and I'm going to choose the slideshow activity. Now what I would like to do is down at the bottom of this, because I've already got all my slides created, they're images, I'm now going to scroll down and click on this Select Folder button. Then we want to navigate from where we are, my documents. We want to go to our desktop. Once we're in our desktop, we then want to go inside of our TRCC Files 2 folder. So we'll just double click on that to open it. Then we're going to go inside of the Files folder, double click on the picture to open it, and then select Using PowerPoint Online. Just click on the folder and click on Open. And that's going to take each one of the graphics that were there and create a separate slide for each one of the images. Click OK. If you click on slide 1, then slide 2, slide 3, and slide 4, you'll see that it has taken each slide and made it into an image. Now what we would want to do is to modify each one of those images. So I'm going to click on slide 1 and click on Edit. I'm going to change its title, and rather than slide 1, I'm going to call it Introduction. And then I'm going to click in the content area that's down below. And this is where I would type an introduction to the slide presentation, just so my students can read additional text there. That's all I'm going to put on the first slide. Then I'll click OK. Now let's go to slide 2, and again let's edit slide 2. I'm going to change its title, and I'll say Problems with PowerPoint. Now obviously if you have a program like Camtasia where you can record your voice and the entire PowerPoint presentation, then you can do that and put that recording in as a video file. But again, I would suggest you keep that short and make it no longer than about 5 minutes. Otherwise the students are going to get tired of it very quickly. If you think your slide is going to need additional text to explain what the students are looking at, then you would click in the content area and you would explain the content of the slide in this text window. And the students then have the ability to view that. If you wanted to, you could also bring in an MP3 file that you've previously recorded using, maybe like Audacity or some other audio recording program. I'll click on Select the MP3 file. I then want to navigate from where we are to our desktop. Then once we're at the desktop, we want to go inside of our TRCC Files to folder. We'll open it. And then inside of Media, we'll open it. Select Slide 2. Click on it and then select. And then click OK. All right, let's edit one more slide. Click on Slide 3 and edit. Let's change our title, make it Solution. And let's just put in, we're not going to put in any additional text content. We're going to select an MP3 file. Navigate back to the desktop. Go inside of the TRCC Files to folder. And then inside of Media. And choose Slide 3. Select and OK. All right, we would continue doing that process for each one of the slides in our slideshow. Once we finish it, then we're going to go to our Options tab. This is where we can put in the instructions for our students, and that's the default text that you see there. You can describe each slide for assisted technologies, if you would like. So I'm going to click in this box and say, this is my description for the slides using assisted technologies. And then we get to set, do we want it to display in line? And I do. And then we get to set how long should each slide stay on the screen if the students choose to view the slideshow. All right, well, I think 5 seconds might be a little short, so I'm going to increase that and make it 9 seconds. Now, if the audio files that you have attached to a slide are longer than 9 seconds, then the slide stays on the screen until the audio finishes. If the students manually advance the slide from one slide to another, if audio is playing on one slide and they advance it to another slide that doesn't have audio, then that original audio will continue to play. If they advance it to a slide that has audio, then it will stop the previous slide and start the audio for the next slide. Audio starts automatically when the slide displays. We'll click OK, and we have now created our slideshow activity. All right, well, what I would like to do next, well, I guess I want to take what I've done, and I'm going to save what I've done. So I guess I'll click on my Save button. And now, well, I think it's time for us to stop and take about a 10-minute break. Because, again, it's, I guess, right after lunch, so it's a good time to take a little break. Let's choose File and exit the SoftChalk program. We're then back to our desktop, and this is a good place to leave the computers while we take a break. I'm going to stay around, so if you do have any questions, feel free to ask them. I never take breaks, so it's a good time to ask any questions that you might happen to have. In the meantime, I will be displaying this welcome screen, and also I'm going to show what we still have to cover for today. We still have to create personal styles. We've created all of the activities that I wanted to create. We've created quiz questions. We learned about the library. I haven't done a quiz group yet, but we're going to create styles, scenario branching. That's what we still plan on covering for today. But again, it's a great time to stop and take a break. All right, let's get started again. If I can have hands up when when everybody's back and we're ready to get started. What we'll be looking at in the next hour and a half or so, we'll be looking at creating a scenario branching lesson, creating our own personal style. And that's what our plan is. That's what we'll be looking at in the next in the next hour and a half or so. All right, well, if we're ready, just click on the raise hand button and let me know that you're back and ready to go. All right, Anne's ready. So, Ben, I just need it from your group in your classroom. Is everybody ready? Okay, well, let's get started. I'm going to close my browser window. I'm back to my desktop. I want to start the SoftChalk program, so I'll just point to it and double-click on it. And this time when it opens, I know that I can go to, and I'm going to maximize my window again, I can now go to File and open Recent, and the first item in my recent list should be my first lesson. So I can start there, and there we go. Now, when we were last here, we created activities. Well, we put in activities in our library. We found out how we can import and export a library. We found out how we can take content items like an activity and we can bring it into the library. We can also take library items like an activity and take it into our lesson. That's pretty nice. What I would like to do next is I want to look for the top of my activities page. That's the beginning of page 5. And I'd actually like to click right on the blank line up above activities on it's top of page 6. I'd like to click on page 5 right at the bottom. And we're now ready to create a quiz group. I'm going to change my style here. Rather than plain text, I'm going to make it a heading 2, and then I'll press Enter, and I'm ready to create my quiz group. Now, a quiz group is nothing more than a series of quiz questions that appear all together. And we can create our quiz group by choosing Insert from the menu bar. From the Insert menu, we select Quiz Group, and it then shows us the Quiz Group dialog window, where we first need to enter a name for our group. Well, I'm going to call this my first lesson group 1. Seems like a good name for it. I can have multiple quiz groups in a lesson. I don't have to just restrict it to one group within a lesson. I can ask a whole series of questions anytime I would like. All right, what I want to do is now choose my quiz question type. We notice that it currently shows true, false. If you click on that list, it shows you all of the different question types that are available to you. Well, let's make this first one an essay. I then click on Add, and I'm now ready to add my essay question. All right, well, I want my students to explain what is meant by global warming. Okay, that's going to be my my essay question. I may want to, because it is an essay, I may want to give my students just a little bit more instructions, like minimum of 200 words. Then I'm ready to go to my Options tab. You'll notice in the essay question there is no feedback because this is the only question type that is not going to be graded automatically by SoftChalk. It will be graded by you at a later date. All right, so I'm going to click on the options, and you should also notice that most of the option area is grayed out. I can't choose how the question's going to appear. I can't choose when it's going to appear. All I can do is choose how many points it should be worth. All right, I'm going to let this be worth 2 points, and I'll then click OK. I've just created my first quiz question. Notice I can add another question, and it would be essay, or once again, I can click on my list, and I then can choose the question type that I want my students to answer. All right, well, let's let this one be an ordering. I'll then click on Add, and I'm now ready for my students to, or I'm ready to put in my list of items that I want my students to put in the correct order. All right, well, I'm going to make these all Roman numerals, so I'm going to just type in an X, and then in the second box, I'll do a V. We can have, incidentally, up to 10 or 8 items in this ordering list. I'm then going to do an IV for 4, and then the fourth one is going to be a VI. Now I'm ready to assign the positions for the elements that I have just put in. My positions will be from 1 through 4. Obviously, the X would be number 4. And as I look through this, 5 would be my third. Number 3 would be the second. I'm sorry, I guess, yeah, I only have 4 items, so I guess number 3 would be the first. Forgot what I put in here. And then the last one would be the 4th item. So I've then put in the correct positioning for the order for the elements I have just included. Okay. Now I'll go to for feedback. I can modify what the students see when they get the answer right or when they get the answer wrong. I can choose to show what the correct answer is with the feedback. I'm not going to in this case. I can even put in a hint inside of my group question. Under options, I just get to set a point value. Well, I'm going to let the point value be 2, and if they don't get it all correct, I'm going to give them partial credit for the answers that they have gotten in the right position. So if they don't get them all, well, then I'm going to give them partial credit. I then click OK, and I've just created, whoops, let me go back and see my questions here. Okay, I guess V should be number 2, and then 4 should be number 3. There we go. So we have 4, 2, 1, and 3 based on what I've done. I'll then click OK, and I've just created my quiz group. I have 2 questions so far. Now, this is where the library can come in handy, because you can get questions from the library. Now let's click on that check or that button, and it then displays our library. We see our student lesson questions. If you click on the plus sign, it expands them. Let's also expand Andrew Jackson and John Quincy Adams. So we now have all of the different types of, or we see lots of different question types that are available to us. If we wanted to choose, let's suppose I want this short answer for the name of the school. I'd click on it. If I also want to pick a question from the second folder, hold down on Control and click on that Andrew Jackson TF. If I want something from the third folder, hold down on the Control key again, CTRL, and choose the JQA fill in the blank. Notice that allows me to select non-consecutive items. Suppose I would want to bring in all of the questions that I have. then all I'd need to do is click on the quiz questions folder. And all of these questions would then appear in my quiz group. Oh, okay, well let's insert them all. So click on quiz questions and insert into the quiz group. And there we now have all of the questions. Now, some of them, we're going to have to go in and modify their point value. Now, I'm not going to do it for all. Let's just go to that short answer. I'll right mouse click on it, or click on it, then click on Modify. Go to the options and set a point value of 1. Click OK. Do the same thing for the multiple choice. Click on it. Click on Modify, set a point value under the options of 1, and then OK. Now I could do this for each and every other quiz question that's here. If we wanted to remove some of the quiz questions, for example, the school you're attending, the true-false, click on that line and then delete. So we can easily add and delete quiz questions in our quiz group. Now we're ready to show the questions. How do we want them to appear? Do we want all of the quiz questions to appear at one time? Or would you rather them appear one at a time? I'm going to make it appear one at a time and in a random order. So I don't know how it's going to appear for my students. I'm also going to show the group when the page loads. These are the options that were grayed out for the individual questions. And for the feedback, I like it detailed. A summary feedback will just show the number of points the students have earned and the total number of points available. Detail gives us or shows us each quiz question, whether they got it right or wrong, and then gives us the total number of points for the entire group. I'm not going to show or allow a retry, so I'll then just click OK, and we've now created our quiz group quiz questions. All right, now let's save what we've done. So I'll click on the Save tool, and now I see the purple background or the color scheme because I'm using the Bubbles banner. What we're going to do is we're going to create our own personal style. Now we can create our own personal style by choosing, once again, Tools from the menu bar, and from that Tools menu we want to select Style Builder. And this will then display the Style Builder dialog window. Okay, so again, we can create our own personal style simply by choosing Tools from the menu bar, and then from that Tools menu, select Style Builder. Now the Style Builder dialog window then appears, and we see a default, or we see a series of 5 separate tabs: a general, a banner, a content, a sidebar, and a footer. Well, the first tab is where we can pick the basic colors that we want to use. All right, Ben, you have a question? No? Okay. All right, so we now see our Style Builder, and we see a basic beginning area. All right, well, what it tells us we need to do is, if we wanted to, we can click on this line where it shows personal styles, and we can actually pick our own starting point for our styles. All right, well, that's pretty nice. I'm just going to clean up my screen just a little bit so I can get it to look just like everyone else's. I'm actually going to start from this color scheme. Now let's click on the Banner tab. And as we click on each tab, it's going to show you what it's working with. The banner includes the title area as well as the navigation bar. We can change the color of our banner. Now I'm going to do that. I'm going to click on the banner button, and then I'm going to pick a color. Now I'm going to choose a yellow, and I'm going to use this quick pick yellow. And then I really think that's a little bright, so I'm then going to move into this area where I'm changing it, making it a much more subdued yellow color. Okay, I'm going to be using that several times. Now, because I'm going to be using it many times, I need to take this hexadecimal code and copy it. So I'm going to select the hexadecimal code that's there, right mouse click, and copy. I then click OK, and there I have now changed my banner color. Let's also change the color of our text. Notice there's a banner text button. I can click on that, and I'm then going to make that, I'm going to use just black. So I'm going to click on the black color, the black quick pick color button, and then do an OK. That's going to be the color of my text. Now we can change the navigation bar, both its color and its text. Now I'm going to change the navigation bar color, so I'll click on the button. I'm going to make it black, and then I'll click OK. And I'm going to change the navigation color text to the same color as my banner. So I'm going to click on the navigation text button, select the hexadecimal code that's there, right mouse click, and paste. And then I click OK. That's an easy way to make sure you get consistent colors where you want them to be the same. All right, well, that's our banner and navigation bar so far. Well, that's pretty easy. Now, if you wanted to, you can actually make that title bold-faced by clicking on the bold button, or you can make it italic, or you can make it both. Well, I'm going to make it both bold and italic. That's pretty nice. Now, I'd also like to put in a logo. To put in a logo, we click on the logo check, and then we click on choose to choose the image we want to use. Now, we're going to navigate to our desktop. I'm then going to go into the TRCC Files 2 folder, so I'll open that, and I'm going to go inside of Graphics. I'm then going to choose the TRCC Small and select. Okay, so that's going to be my logo. I guess it looks okay. A word of warning when you put in a logo image. The Style Builder program does not resize the logo to fit in that banner. So if you choose something, a graphic image that's taller than 120 pixels, then it's going to increase the banner height. So we have to be a little careful with that. We also can modify our banner by removing the border. Now, if you look at the bottom of the navigation bar, you'll notice that there is a very thin line there that's the same color as the banner. That's the border. If you remove that check, then it just gives us the navigation bar extended just a little bit. Okay. Another option that we have for this banner area, rather than it appearing as a solid color, we can click on our color button here, or color option, and make it gradient. Gradient means it's going to blend between the banner color and the navigation bar color. Okay. If you don't like the gray, and that's our only choice, it blends between banner and navigation. If you don't like what you see, then you can also put in a pattern. The pattern still uses the same basic color for the banner. It just puts in, again, a pattern to display. Now, currently, we're looking at a checkerboard or a checker pattern. If you click on checker, you can then choose one of the other patterns. For example, corkboard or flames. And notice it's still using that same original or basic color. If I choose grass, same idea. Okay, well, I like that look, so that's actually what I'm going to be using for my banner. Now let's go to our content. The content allows you to change the color and style of your text. Well, rather than the text being the Arial font, I'm going to make it a little bit more fun font. I'm going to put in the Comic Sans. I'm also going to change the color that I'm using for my headings. All right, well, the original heading, that's page heading, and all I'm going to click and make it black. Oh, that's a little plain. I guess I'm going to make it orange. That'll make it stand, or this gold color. I think that might look a little bit better. So I'm going to make it gold, and then OK. Shows us what it's going to look like. Let's also change our link color. So I'm going to click on the link and make that the same color. OK. Now, as a student rolls over a hyperlink, I would like it to display in black. And then I'll click OK. I think my text being black looks okay, so I'm not going to change that. However, I am going to change the background color. So I'm going to click on the Page button, and I'm then going to choose this very light shade of gray at the bottom left-hand corner of my Quick Pick color box. And then I'll click OK. So we've now changed everything that's possible to change in our content area, except for our background for our quiz questions. I'm going to let those be white just so they stand out a little bit more. And we've changed our banner. Now let's go to the sidebar. I'd like the sidebar to actually be a continuation of my navigation bar. Oh, incidentally, transparent removes all of the color from that navigation bar and lets the background of the page come through. Oh, okay. I don't want it to be transparent. Rounded box means that your navigation bar actually has 3 different areas. If I click on rounded box, we've got the navigation bar itself, we've got the text, and then we've got the box inside of it. I'm not a big fan of that, so I'm going to remove it. I'm going to change my my sidebar text, and I'm going to remove the hexadecimal code that's there, and I'm going to paste that code that I had previously. So it's going to have the same color as my navigation bar text. Now let's change our sidebar and make it black. And then OK. And that's the effect. I'm trying to get the navigation bar to continue here. That's our navigation bar. Now let's go to our footer. And I'd like to change the footer text. I'm going to make that black. Okay. I'm going to change our footer color, and I'm going to make that same color as our banner. So I'm going to select the color code that's there and paste it in. That's a lot easier than trying to get to this spot over and over again. And then I click OK. And that is what our style is going to look like. Now notice also in the footer, we can draw lines above and below the footer, or we can remove those lines by removing the top and bottom borders. And that's what I'm going to do. That's our style. We can create as many styles as we would like. And then we just save the style. So I'm going to click on Save, and I'm going to call this Style 1, and I'll click OK. And we have now created our own personal style. Now, suppose people look at that and they say, wow, that's great. Can I use that style? And the answer is yes. Now, the style that you've just created is on this computer. If you're using SoftChalk on more than one computer, then you may want to put that same style on another computer. How you do it is you export the style. Click on Export. We're ready to navigate to our desktop. Then inside of the TRCC Files folder, we'll select it and open. And we're now ready to give this a name. And I'll just call this First Style. And then save. It saves it as a zip file. You would then take that zip file and you would then put it on some storage device that other people have access to, maybe a flash drive, and let people share it. Okay. Now, can we also bring in a style? Sure. Click on the Import button. Let's again navigate to our desktop. Go to the TRCC Files 2 folder and open it. And then let's go into our special zips. Select that folder and open it. Or actually, no, let's go into the branching folder. Select that folder and open it. If you've already opened the special zips, then just go up one level and go into the branching folder and open it. And select the Scenario Builder Styles. Open. Okay. Now, what the Scenario Builder Styles does, if we go into the Banner tab, you'll see the big change, or what it's actually doing. I've changed my navigation bar color to be the same as the navigation bar text. So essentially, it's not going to display anything in the navigation bar. All right, well, that's great. Now let's close our style builder. We'll see that in a couple of minutes. Let's change the look of our lesson. Choose Properties from the menu bar. From the Properties menu, select Style Properties. And you'll notice if you scroll to the top of the screen, you now have two personal styles. You've got the Scenario Lesson style, and you have Style 1. All right, well, let's choose Style 1 and click OK. And everything that was purple has now changed to that yellow, and we now have a gray color background. All of our hyperlinks have now changed. Notice the speaker here is also yellow because it's a link. So we've really changed the look of our lesson. Now let's see what it would look like when we preview it. So we'll preview it in the browser. We'll save our changes. And there is our lesson. It looks like that gold is a little bit bright. Notice as you roll over each one of those links, we then see the text in the black color. That's our hover color. Let's go into the first page. Let's go to our second page, or our fourth page, where we see our on-the-page sidebar, text poppers and active text poppers. And as we roll over those images, or again those links, we then see the colors, or it's showing us our hover color. And that's our lesson so far. I'm going to close my browser, and I'm now ready to say, okay, I'm done with this lesson. So let's do a File and select New. And I'm now ready to start my next lesson. Now, I wanted you to notice what happened. When you exit one lesson and you're ready to create a new one, SoftChalk remembered what style you last applied. And you applied the style 1. So that's what it assumes you're going to be using at this particular point. Okay. Now, let's minimize our SoftChalk window. And let's go into the TRCC Files 2 folder. Now let's go inside of the branching folder. And there's a Word document there. All right, well, let's open that Word document. This is what we're going to change into a scenario branching lesson. Now, once your Word document opens, you're going to notice, oh, okay, I see the word introduction, and it is a heading style. That's great. Click on topic 1. Let's make that a heading style also. Underneath our paragraph here, we then see a table with a next button, and we're going to see that next and previous button several times within this particular document. Okay. That's pretty nice. That's what I want it to do. I want to click. Actually, what I would like you to do is click just to the left of where you see a topic 1 question, and then press enter. Then come back up on that blank line and make it a normal paragraph. Okay, that just got rid of some extra stuff we didn't. Now, the way this is going to work, what we're ready to create is a lesson that lets the students determine what path their learning is going to take. My first page is an introduction, and I've made this as simple as I could. The second page is the first page of content that's going to be covered. Once they finish looking at the content on the page, they can either go back or they can go forward. Those are their choices. Now, I can create as many of these topic pages as I would like. I'm only doing one to make it very quick and easy for us to create this kind of a scenario branching lesson. Then, once I cover all of the material that I want to, until it's time for the students to demonstrate their knowledge, then I create a test page. That's my topic 1 question. And we're going to ask a question on this page. If they get the question right, then they're going to be able to move on to topic 2, where after a certain number of tries, they then get to the topic 2 question. When they answer the topic 2 question correctly, then they go to the end of lesson. Now, back up here in topic 1 question, if they get it wrong, then they're going to branch to our remedial topic 1, where there's going to be some information, as many pages as we need, a different way of displaying the content, and then we're going to ask them another question. If they get it right, then they will move to topic 2. Okay, that's what our scenario branching is going to look like. Any questions with that? What I normally do when I'm ready to create this kind of a lesson, I go to a big board and I draw each one of the pages, and then I draw arrows on how I want to move from one page to the next, if I want to move between the pages. So I draw arrows that connect all of the pages together, and that just makes it much clearer in my mind. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to select all of this content, So I'll choose Select from my editing section of the Home tab, and then choose Select All. Then I'll copy it. I'm going to minimize Word. I'm then going to come down here to our SoftChalk task, and I'm ready to paste. So I'll go Edit and Paste. And there we now have all of our content. What we need to do is start putting in page breaks. So I'd like you to click right up above Topic 1 and do a Control-Enter to create a page break. Click right up above Topic 1 Question. Page break, Control-Enter. Click at the end of the paragraph right up above Topic 2 and again Control-Enter. Then click at the end of the paragraph to the right of the Topic 2 question and again Control-Enter. So we now have a 5-page lesson. Click at the blank line right up above Topic 1 question and put in another page break. And then finally, click at the end of the Topic 1 question and put in one last page break. So we're actually going to have 7 pages of content for this lesson. The students will probably not see all 7 pages. There's going to be a lot of pages we don't want them to look at unless they need to. All right, now let's click to the left of the word Introduction, because the next part of creating this scenario branching is to put in bookmarks that will say, this is where I want to go to. And that's what a bookmark is. We can create a bookmark, and I moved all the way up to the beginning of my lesson, by choosing Insert from the menu bar, and from the Insert menu, we select Bookmark. Let's call this Introduction or Intro. A bookmark cannot have spaces in it. Maximum of 30 letters. I click OK. Let's click to the left of Topic 1. And again, let's insert a bookmark. And I'm going to call this Topic 1. And then OK. Then I'm going to click to the left of the Topic 1 question. And again, insert a bookmark and call this Topic 1 question. I really don't want to be very cryptic. I want it to be very obvious when I look at a list of which page I'm working with. I'll then click OK. I'm going to scroll down, and I then want to click to the left of Topic 1 Remedial. I'm going to leave the other 2 pages empty for right now. And I'm ready to insert my bookmark for Topic 1 Remedial, and I'll call it Topic 1 Remedial. And then OK. Students will never see these topic or these bookmark names. I'll scroll down. I'm going to click on my Topic 1 question again below the Topic 1 Remedial, and I'm ready to insert a bookmark. And I'm going to call this Remedial Question 1. And then OK. And then finally, I'll click on my, or next, I'm going to click on my End of Lesson, insert the bookmark, and make this EOL. Now notice the order that the bookmarks appear is the order that I had entered them. All right, now let's click on my Topic 2 question, and let's insert a bookmark and call this Topic 2 question. I know some of you are thinking, well, what about my Topic 2 Remedial? Well, we could do that also. So I'm just not going to in this example. I'm then going to click OK. And now we have one more bookmark to create. That's for Topic 2. So click on topic 2, choose Insert, Bookmark, and notice the order of the bookmarks are not really in the order I created them. They are in the order they are located throughout the lesson. Topic 2 question is in between topic 1 question and topic 1 remedial. All right, well, this is going to be topic 2, and I click OK. All right, now that I have created all of the bookmarks, I'm now ready to create hyperlinks that will take the students to the bookmarks. Okay, let's go all the way up to the beginning of our lesson and click on the Next button on that first page. We want this to link to topic 1. So I'm going to now choose Insert from the menu bar, select Hyperlink, and unlike the hyperlinks that we created in the first lesson, this hyperlink has a link to an internal bookmark area. The reason it does that is because we now have a bookmark in our lesson, an internal bookmark. So I'm going to click on Choose the Bookmark. I'm then going to click on that list triangle and choose Intro, or I'm sorry, Topic 1. I then click OK. So from the first page, we're going to go to Topic 1 page. Click on Previous, and again, let's insert a hyperlink, choose the bookmark, and make it Intro. Click OK. Click on the Next button in our Topic 1 and insert a hyperlink. Choose the bookmark and go to Question 1, Topic 1 question. Okay. So now you're looking at the idea of what this is going to do. Let's then scroll down. There's no bookmark yet for our Question 1. Let's go to our Topic 2, click on Next, and insert the hyperlink. Click on the Choose Bookmark, and let's go to our Topic 2 question, and then OK. And again, there's no link yet in our Topic 2 question. Let's go to our Topic 1 remedial, click on Next, and let's again insert a hyperlink, choose the bookmark, and let's go to our remedial question 1. And then OK. And then next, let's click on, or I guess that's all that we have right now. All right, now we have to deal with our questions. So I'm going to scroll up to my Topic 1 question. I'm going to click at the end of the paragraph that's there and just press Enter. And now I want to choose Insert, Quiz Popper. Let's just make it True/False. And to make this very simple, let's just type in Choose True. That's going to be our correct answer. I'm going to then go to Feedback. And this is where my navigation is going to occur. I'm going to click right after Good Job and press Enter, and then tell my students to click to continue. I'm going to do the same thing when they get the answer wrong. So I'm going to click after the word answer, press Enter, and again click to continue. Now let's select that top, click to continue, and we're going to make that into a hyperlink. So we'll right mouse click on click to continue and choose hyperlink. Now this is question number 1. If they get the answer correct, then we want to navigate to Topic 2. So I'm going to choose a bookmark and select Topic 2. I'll then click OK. If they get the answer wrong, I'm going to make this a hyperlink, so I'll select click to continue. I'll right mouse click, choose hyperlink. If they miss the question 1, then I want them to navigate to the topic 1 remedial. And we click OK. And OK again. Now let's go down to our question 2. Click at the end of the question, press enter, or the end of the statement, press enter, and let's again insert a quiz popper. I'm going to again make this a true false, and I'm going to tell them to choose false. That's going to be my correct answer. So I'll choose false. I'll go to feedback, click after the word job, and then again click to continue. I'm going to select the click to continue and make that into a hyperlink. I'll right mouse click on it. I'll then choose hyperlink. If they get the second question correct, then they're done. So I want them to go to the end of lesson. Okay. If they get it wrong, then I'll tell them to click to continue. I'll right mouse click on that and choose hyperlink. If they get it wrong, then I'm going to send them back to topic 2. And then OK. And then OK. And now finally, let's go to our topic 1 question at the bottom of our screen. Click after the statement and then press enter, and we're ready to insert our last quiz popper. And I'm ready to type in my statement. I'll say choose true. I'll go to feedback, click, press enter, click to continue. I'll select that text, right mouse click on it and make it a hyperlink. If they get this remedial question 1 correct, then I want them to go to topic 2 and OK. If they get it wrong, click to continue. I'll select that, right mouse click on it, choose a hyperlink, and this time I'm going to make it go back to my topic 1. And then OK. And then OK. Now what I can also do with all of my quiz questions, I can actually set the point value to 0, because when they complete the lesson, then I'll know that they've answered all the questions correct. Do I want them to allow them to retry? Yes, I do. So I'll then click OK. We've now finished our lesson. Now, this is still in that open navigation view, and I'm going to keep it that way so I can test it to see how it works. So let's go and preview this in our browser. We'll save our changes, and I guess I'm going to put this inside of the TRCC files 2 folder, and we'll just call this branch, and then save. So I've now saved my lesson. This is what it's going to look like. It's a little bit hard to see for now, but that's okay because we're going to modify it. Let's go to page 1. And imagine the navigation bar doesn't exist either at the top of the screen or at the bottom of the screen. So you've now read the content on our introduction, and the only thing you can do is go to the next page. Then you read the content on that first page. You can either go back or forward. Let's go forward. Go to the next page. Now we see our question. All right, I'm ready to choose my answer. Now I'm going to choose true, and check the answer. And it should have taken me to this screen that says, great job, click here to continue. And now we're at topic 2. Okay, whoops, I forgot to put in a page break here. I'll need to do that. When I click on next, it'll then take me to my topic 2 question. We're supposed to choose false, and we check our answer, and we're now at our screen that allows us to click to continue, and we're now at our end of lesson. Now let's see if we answer the questions incorrectly. Let's go to page 2, click on next, and choose false and check the answer. Click to continue, and it should take us to our topic 1 remedial. I'd probably change that to something a little bit better, where again we're going to read the content. We'll go to our next page. We'll choose the wrong answer. I'll choose false, check my answer, and then continue, and I'm back to my topic 1. All right, well, let's then go back to that page. This time, choose the correct answer and check it. Click to continue, and we're now at topic 2. That's the way our lesson works. All right, let's close our browser, and let's make our fix. And what I need to make sure I do is I put in a page break between my topic 2 and the topic 2 question. So I'm going to click right up above topic 2 question, and then just do a Control-Enter. Now, let's use a style that's going to turn off the page numbering that we see in the navigation bar. So we're going to go to Properties and Style Properties, and we're going to select that personal style of Scenario Lesson Style. While we're here, let's also go to Title and Layout, because I don't want a table of contents. I don't want a drop-down menu at the top of the page. I don't want arrows or page numbers or an on-the-page sidebar. I don't want any of the navigation. I'm going to also click on Use Default Text here, so it goes back to just me, and then I'll click OK. Now let's see what this scenario branching looks like. We'll preview it. We'll save our changes. And as soon as my browser window comes back, they must have just updated Firefox. There we go. Now notice the only things my students see here is the Next button as well as the content. So I go to Next, and there's my content. I go to Next. I see the quiz question. I choose an answer. I check my answer, and I can move on. I can click to continue. There's nothing else that I see I can do here. So I'm going to click to continue, and there's my second topic, where again we go to Next, we choose our answer, check it, click to continue, and well, I guess I chose the wrong one. Let's see, I'm going to choose true, check my answer. Great, I'll click to continue. I'll go to my next topic. I'll choose the answer. I'll check my answer for question 2. And I'll continue. And whoops, my navigation is wrong here. I should have gone to the end of the lesson. So I'm going to close this and fix that. So it's my question 2. I'll modify it. And when they get the answer correct, I want this to go to my end of lesson. Okay? When they get it wrong, I'll modify this. Then I want it to go to my topic 2 again. There we go. when I put in the page break, it kind of got confused into where it's supposed to go. We've now created our scenario branching lesson. All right, well, let's save that, and let's again go to File and New. Before we're finished, what we also want to do is that orange color is really hard to read in our personal style. So let's modify it. I'm going to choose Tools and select Style Builder. I'm going to select the style that I want to work with, and that's our Style 1. I'm going to go into the content, and I'm going to change that heading color. Rather than that very bright yellow or orange, I'm going to click on Headings. I'm going to select the color that's currently there, and I'm going to come down in here and pick this very light tan color. I'll then click OK. I'm going to do the same thing for links. Let's go back into, so I'll then click on links, and I'm going to choose this tan color here, and then OK. Now let's save this, and then close. Let's choose File, select Open Recent, and choose my first lesson. And you should notice that that color, the choices, are now applied automatically. Now, it's kind of hard to read here also. All right, well, I may want to change the color again. Well, let's change those colors. Tools, then select Style Builder. I'm going to go into my content. It's really hard to read it, so I need to make it brighter because of that light gray background. Well, suppose I just got rid of the light gray background. Change page and make it white. Then click OK. Well, that makes it readable. Click on Save, and then close. And now my screen and my text is more readable, including the hyperlinks. And if I scroll down to where the hyperlinks exist, then we'll notice, yes, they are. They are much more readable now. And as I roll over them, they're going to be the same color because we made it the same. Okay. And that is our lesson so far. Now, again, if we wanted to take this and put this into Blackboard, then we need to publish it to Blackboard. Now, we already created our connection from SoftChalk into Blackboard, but I think we deleted it. So let's review how we would create our connection from SoftChalk to Blackboard. We choose File from the menu bar, and we select Publish Lesson. This will display our Publish or the Accounts tab. What we now need to do is, and I'm going to get rid of some things that I have here, we need to click on New. I then choose Blackboard, and then OK. And now I'm ready to give this a name. All right, well, this is going to be my TRCC Blackboard. And now we want to put in our server address. Now, if I remember right, your server address is bb.trcc.edu. Ben, is that right? Okay. Can you let me know what your server address is for Blackboard? Oh, okay. The other way around. All right. It's Blackboard. So what we would type is http:// or I'm sorry, is it a secure server? So it might be https the letter S, colon, / blackboard dot trcc.edu. That gives us access into our Blackboard server. So again, it's https://blackboard.trcc.edu. Now, while we're here, let's now go to our task where let's go open up a browser window and then use that same Blackboard or https:// in our address bar, https:// blackboard.trcc.edu. And that's going to take you to your version of Blackboard. What we now would like to do is just to type in your username and password. All right, while you're doing that, I'll go into my version of Blackboard and type in my username and password and then log in. Now, once you've logged into Blackboard, you then need to pick any course that you're currently teaching. That gives us an active link into your Blackboard area. Now that we're here, we want to go to our course management section on the left-hand side of the screen. We would then like to click on Course Tools. This is going to display a list of all of the tools that are available to you. You should notice there is a SoftChalk Publish with Score Center, and that's what we want to select. This will change your screen and then give you this access code confirmation. Click on Submit, and it then generates a unique code between the computer you're sitting in front of and the SoftChalk program and Blackboard. If you try this code in any other computer, it will not work. All right, so we need to select that, and I'll just point to the right and drag to the left. Then I'm going to copy it and then come back into the SoftChalk task. In the access code line, this is where I paste, and then click OK. Okay, and that's all we need to do, and we have now created our connection between Blackboard and SoftChalk. Now what that now means is you can take your content and quickly and easily put it into Blackboard. I'm going to move mine to the top of the list. I then click on Publish, click on Connect, and you'll then see the list of all of the courses that you're currently teaching. Cool. I'm going to put mine inside of General Studies, so I'm going to click on General Studies. Actually, I'll expand that, and I'm going to put it inside of my Content folder. And I'm going to change the name just a little bit, and I'll just say First Lesson. That's going to be the item name. If I want it to be scored, then I choose Score Center. If I don't want it to be scored, I let it stay zip. You should not ever use SCORM. So I'm going to make it scored, so I'll use the Score Center. I change the maximum number of attempts if I would like. I'd like my students to use this forever, so I'm going to let it be unlimited. I also then say, well, if it's scored, which score do I want to have go in the grade book? And being a nice guy, I'm going to make it the highest score. Okay. And then I publish. And that's it. It's then taking your content and putting it into Blackboard. And with that, I think we are done for today, unless anyone has any questions. Any questions?